But first, it is time for the hot topic of the hour. The Trump administration securing a new deal with Britain. Zero tariffs on British pharmaceutical products and medical tech in exchange for ramped up spending on American medicine and an overhaul of how they value these drugs. Under this agreement, Britain's going to raise its net price on U.S. drug spending by 25%, raise its cost-effective appraisal threshold for medicines by $5,000, all in exchange for tariff exemptions on drug ingredients and, again, medical technology. So administration officials are calling this a win for both nations. Taking a look at pharma stocks this morning, as you can see, a mixed bag. AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly are slightly down. GSK, Pfizer, and Merck are higher. But some American companies are still not fully confident in President Trump's tariff plan. Costco is joining the growing list of companies set to sue the Trump administration and get refunded if the tariffs are struck down by the Supreme Court. However, the Wall Street Journal analyzed company earnings calls, discovering that CEOs are not feeling as much pain from these levies as they previously thought they would. Now, Maria spoke with Fed Governor Stephen Myron on this program. Here's what he told her about tariff revenues.
What is your sense of the importance of these tariffs? Because all of a sudden in April, everybody was just crazy over the tariffs, and we had those massive sell-offs. And now, as we await this decision, people are like, wait, if the tariffs go away, we're going to have to pay back $200 billion. We need those tariffs in place. How do you see it?
So, look, this is an issue, another issue where I think folks have been moving in my direction all year, in the sense that I claimed from the very beginning that I didn't think there would be any material spike in inflation, and there hasn't been. And people have been marking down their expectations of inflation from tariffs all year long, and that continues. What the tariffs do from a monetary policy perspective is they increase net national savings. And that increase in net national savings has allayed concerns about the Treasury market, has allayed concerns about the bond market and fiscal sustainability, and it's served to further reduce what we call the neutral rate of policy that allows us to sort of run monetary policy at a slightly lower rate because there's more national savings in the economy relative to the amount of investment. And so it's been important for those revenues to, I think, calm financial markets.
Adam, what is your reaction to all of this? I mean, look, the tariffs have certainly changed the dynamic for American companies. At the same time, he's arguing that this is overall good for the financial status and the health of the United States government.
Well, in theory, it offsets some of that spending that we have so much of a problem with. But I think my takeaway is that 10 to 12% tariffs are probably something we can live with. You know, everyone, they get kind of spread around. So everyone sort of pays a little bit more. Consumers pay a little bit more. Importers pay a little bit more. Stores might have to raise prices a tad, although Home Depot has not, nor has Walmart. And so I think it's just a level we can live with, and that's why it doesn't seem as bad as it was. What's very interesting to me is that President Trump gets absolutely no credit for low gasoline prices. The drill baby drill has kept oil under $60, mid-50s now for several months. Gasoline is as low as it's been in 2 years, but he gets no credit for that. Everyone talks about tariffs.
That Costco lawsuit, Chris, is what is, I think, going to be the twist here and the interesting change, because if the justices, they already did kind of question the tariffs. We heard that language, which was a little disconcerting, obviously, for the administration. But they're saying, you know, you're trying to levy tariffs using national security to every country on earth. When that decision comes down, now these companies are saying that, obviously, and I understand why they are readying their lawyers. But this comes down to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and if it ends up going against the administration at SCOTUS, the administration has told me and a lot of other folks that, hey, they have plan B, C, D, E, and F. And so there is going to be some form of trade policy. You can use Section 301 to target unfair trade practices, subsidizing, stealing IP, those kind of things. That'll uniquely hit countries like China. Those are the options they have on the table. So, you know, there is going to be an opportunity to continue this America First trade agenda. And none of this is happening in a vacuum where they're just arbitrarily raising tariffs, which cause prices to go up. You're seeing these trade deals like the one with the British leading to lower costs for Americans on certain things. So that's the political advantage here that they have, is they have all these options and they're leading to these big trade deals.
Yeah, I remember Treasury Secretary Secretary Scott Bessent also telling Maria, like we have other plans. We have ways that we can bring in the revenue or at least handle the decision. But also back to the drug makers real quick with you. I thought this was interesting because to go down to zero for both on this specific issue, this kind of flows into what has been so, I think, important to the president and to Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. is lowering drug prices for Americans. This move does that, more so than I think any other decision they could make right now.
Well, it certainly grabs headlines, but I would also note that generics already have a zero tariff policy on them, which, again, is about everyday low prices, as they like to say at Walmart. And somehow it doesn't feel that way, whether you're shopping at Walmart or anywhere else. So there are lots of carve-outs, avocados, pineapples, beef, flat panel TV screens, many auto parts. There have been a lot of carve-outs on these tariffs, which is why, going back to my first point, it doesn't somehow feel quite as bad as we thought, because we can live with 10 or 12, and as it turns out, that 10 or 12% might actually go to zero on a number of these items. So there was the initial tariff announcement. We thought, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. And if it actually had gone that way, it would have been. And then there was a steady walking back.
You don't worry about R&D spending, though, with pharmaceutical companies, because that's always the pushback you get. You're not concerned about that.
Well,
they've got enough money to continue to find new treatment.
It takes money to make money, and one of the issues that has rocked the market over the past 6, 7, 8 weeks is all the money being spent on AI. You got to do that. Whether you are developing AI or whether you're developing drugs, you have to invest in the future.
I want to see AI in the medical, and we are, but also in the pharma sector as well.